Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Networking and Learning Group. We have 16th webinar today, which is Top 10 Soft Skills to Attain Career Mastery. My name is Sushma. I'm an HR generalist working in Dubai. Thank you for registering here and sparing your time to attend this webinar with an amazing speaker today. Since we are here to learn to know the 10 top skills for 2020, especially after the pandemic, which is a new norm. Jason, next slide, please. Why are these soft skills so important? That we'll see today from our speaker. She has beautiful presentation to share with us. Why is NLG? Why did we form this group? Networking and Learning Group is formed to share knowledge, to learn, to network. We started in December 2018 as a luncheon group with 6 of us. Yeah, Jason, you remember? On 16th December, that was 15th
Yes.
December, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. And that
Papa
concept
roti.
is still on. Yes, Papa Roti. That concept is still on across the globe. We moved on and formed NLG group so that we all can network online as well, because luncheon is only offline networking. So where we meet people in person, especially during pandemic, online is the new norm, right? Zoom, webinars, Cisco WebEx, these all have taken a new way to connect with everybody. Me and Jason has formed this group. We are the co-founders. Jason is an internal auditor and a quality management personnel. You can connect with us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and WhatsApp. It's a story time now. Today, I have a wonderful story to share, which is Samuel and the balloon. There is a boy who is called a Black Beauty. His name is Samuel. He is a small boy working with his master. He's a Black Beauty. The story hails from South Africa. Not from, I would say Africa, where he is working with his master and he does what he says. The master gives him different chores to complete, and Samuel does the same. Whenever Samuel asked his master, "Can I go and play? Can I sleep now?" And master always said no. He would say, "You have this chore to complete, you have this task to finish. So please get the needful done." And thus, going this way, Samuel was not able to do what he wanted on his own. And thus, sometimes he felt very, caught up, very restricted. But then he adapted to it. He said, "That is how I am supposed to be. That is how my life is supposed to be." And he carried on with the same. One day, Samuel was asked to clean the farm and the garden as well. He started his cleaning on a day in the morning. Almost whole day passed away. He was cleaning and cleaning. He was trying to finish it as soon as he could. Suddenly, he saw something colorful in the sky. He saw a red color, and he was delighted to see it. And then he sees a green color. He sees a red, orange color, a blue, a purple. This is something new what he was looking at. So he was very excited. He went to see where does it come from. He found the source and he saw a man from where these colorful things were popping up in the sky. He went to the man and asked, "Sir, what is this?" Man replied, "Haven't you ever seen this? These are balloons." That's when Samuel knows that, okay, there are balloons that can fly up in the sky, and these are of so different colors. There's white, orange, red, green, blue, all flying up in the sky. Then he asks the man, "Can this black balloon also fly up?" The man thought for a second and he could see where that question is coming from. He asked Samuel to come nearby, gave him the black balloon, and asked him to let it fly away in the sky. Samuel did the same, and he was so happy that the black balloon can also fly in the sky among the other colors. What do we get from this story? What's the moral? That day, Samuel understood that color doesn't matter. Maybe he's black, maybe there are white people, maybe wherever you are from, every one of us can reach the sky. Sky is the limit. We can learn, we can grow, and we can achieve whatever we want. That was the day after which Samuel never turned back. And he understood he can fly with different colors. He grew, he learned, and he moved on. So the story teaches us so much here. There are certain rules to follow for the webinar. As of now, you're not on mute, but you will be muted soon. So you can use your chat box or you can use the reactions as you want. Once the session is over from today's speaker, there will be a Q&A session. You may raise your hand by going to the participant list or type in your questions in the chat box. You may take notes or screenshots as you like. Now, who is today's speaker? Renira Ayyar. She is a training and development professional. She is a motivational public speaker and she is IELTS certified. Without much wait, I hand over this forum to Renira. Just before that, Jason, if you can mute everybody. Yes. And Renira, you can.
All right. Good evening, everyone. And Sushma, can you guys hear me? A thumbs up or two. Okay, all right. Just let me share my screen. Thank you, Imran, for that. Just a sec. Okay, can you see my screen? Jason or Sushma, any one of you?
Yes,
Can you
yes.
guys see my screen?
Good to
Okay,
go, good to go. Yeah.
All right. Okay, so because I can't really see anybody else. So, okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your weekend and spending it here with us. I hope you guys can take away at least one important aspect that I'm going to, share the knowledge on. And I hope to keep it crisp and to the point, and not waste too much time. Try and wind up soon so we have more time for question and answers. What I'm going to cover today is that I've normally done soft skills. I specialize in soft skills training, but this is a little different. We are talking about soft skills when it comes to 2020 and beyond, and very specifically to the pandemic and what has happened after COVID and how we should deal with that. What I do have a small gift at the end of the session as well, so I will do give you guys that as well. And I have a few tips that I can help you with. That is what I'm known for. I'm known to give people tips, tricks, hacks, because these are things that are easy to remember and work with. So I won't waste much time. I'm just going to get into my presentation directly. Jason, is it okay if I start off? All right. Thank you
Yes,
so
yes,
much.
yes.
You must have heard that song Killing Me Softly. I'm going to make sure all you guys are skilled that softly. There is a reason we are doing soft skills, and there's a reason I chose this topic. First of all, thank you so much, Sushma and Jason, for inviting me on this platform and letting me share my knowledge. Soft skills is something that a lot of people do overlook. They don't really understand that it is as important as hard skills. And I think that a little bit of knowledge and idea on this aspect will really help people grow, not just professionally, but as well as personally. Uh, right. This is the future of employment. This is what 2020, 2025, 2030 is going to look like. Everything is going to be artificial intelligence. In fact, according to Udemy 2020 Workplace Learning Trend Report. This is a report that was done on a website and was done in collaboration with CNBC. McKinsey and Company, which is a very well-known company, said by the year 2030, as many as 800 million people are going to be made redundant. 800 million people is a very big number. It could also include one of us, all right? And it is insane because all of these jobs are going to be technologically upgraded to AI. Artificial intelligence is going to take over completely. Technology is going to take over completely. Shelley Osborne, who is also the VP of Learning at Udemy, told CNBC the same thing. She said, after all of this happens, the only way we can actually keep our jobs is with the little thing that we have called as human touch. Human touch, people's perspective, personal management, and people management. And that is the only thing that a robot cannot do. That comes with emotions. So that is the only thing that is going to drive our soft skills, our ability to still be working and doing well in the working sector. Now, just a little brief on what are hard skills and what are soft skills. Hard skills teach us the ability or skill set that are actually easy to quantify. When I say quantify, you can multiply, you can use it in different aspects. It comes by learning. It could be through a certification, it could be through a course, it could be through education. All of this comes under hard skills. But when we talk about soft skills, which is also known as interpersonal skills and people skills, it all is an innate ability like leadership, teamwork, time management. But these are very few. In fact, I actually have a guide when I normally do soft skills. I have a guide for soft skills. Every alphabet, one soft skill you can add to. But today we're not going to get into common ones. We're going to do something better. We will go and check the different softs that we require in the year 2020. So the first one is growth mindset. When I say growth mindset, it is basically having an open mind, an ability to learn continuously, and willingness to adapt to new norms, new rules, new regulations. Every company that is going to start off now or has already started now is not following the same trend. You cannot expect to go back to work with the same mindset you had before. You have to go with an open mind. You have to go with a mindset wherein you are okay with working for not just one job role, but more than one job role. And you have to have the adaptability to the change that's going to come along with all of the different aspects that will come with your role. So if you're somebody, for example, who's been doing marketing, but has only been doing physical marketing and has not much information on online marketing, you will be asked to go ahead and learn or either go ahead and do it whether you know it or not. So you cannot be like, this is not what I had signed up for, or this is not what I have been hired for. That's not the way to go anymore. You have to adapt. In fact, you might be doing 2 or 3 different roles from different departments as well. Because as far as I believe, due to social distancing, and according to the rules yet, I don't think that a lot many people are allowed to be in an office environment. So there is a limitation. So they expect some people to still work from home. So if there are only 2 or 3 people operating at the workplace, you can imagine the workload. But what I suggest and what I always say is be optimistic with whatever work comes your way. The reason being, take it as a learning aspect. You're still learning something new. It's okay. You never know when it will help you, which part of your life it will help you. So, have an open mindset. Don't say no immediately. The best technique to adapt to growth mindset is say yes. How you do it and how you learn it will come later. We have technology, we have material, we have courses, we have google.com to help us understand what and how something can be operated. Everybody knows Google is like, I don't know. It's like an answer to everything. I don't need to explain to you what Google is, because all of us know, even there's a slightest doubt in our mind, you don't need to look left, right, center. We all are gifted with technology. So you just go to Google, search, you will get different courses to do. You'll get different idea about how growth mindset works. So this is the first one, ability to have a better understanding about how you move further by having an open mindset, taking up roles much more than the one you have signed up for. The second is creativity. Now, creativity is something that was always there in the top 10 soft skills, but never on the second or the third position ever. It always was maybe on the ninth or 10th. The reason being, everybody thinks creativity only is for a certain genre. So they think it's only for people into fashion, into, what do you say, anything to do with artistic work. But creativity, believe me, is anything as simple as developing a new idea, coming up with a new strategy, applying solutions to a normal problem. And some people think that, when you talk about being creative or being a creative thinker, you have to come up with something of your own immediately from scratch. No, what you can do is be more innovative. Take something that is already there and, apply your logic to it, apply your branding to it. This is what is going to make you stand apart. And in fact, if you're already from a genre of foundation arts, or you're into something like fashion, like I said before, creativity right now can help you in a very, very long way, because technology, you can actually play with colors. You have Canva. I think Jason had done a session on Canva as well. People who have not been associated with this application, please go ahead and do. There are apps for everything. If you learn Canva, you just understand how much you can actually play around and learn. So you can do all of your designing on that. It could be any designing. It could be office designing for people who are into architecture, who are into constructions. Creative ideas. Now we are looking at 2020 working in a very different way. I keep telling people, stop saying that, when will COVID get over? When will we go back to what things were? It's never going back to what things were. So let's just accept it. This is the new age, and this is how it's going to be. It's not going to change. What you need to do is learn to adapt. It's a switch. It's like a reboot. The world has gone on a reboot. So just accept it. And this is how it's going to be. So learn your creative skills. If you have some kind of artistic skills, I believe everybody at least has 2 or 3 hidden talents. You just need to understand how and where you can apply it. So learn to use your creative side. If you're somebody who draws and all as well, you can do scheduling, you can do covers, a lot of things you can do. So use your creative ideas, and believe me, when you use your creative ideas and you actually put it forward to the company that you're working in, they will actually appreciate it right now, because right now everything is changing. They're looking out for new concepts. because the competition in the market is going to look different. Everything is going to be on a trial and error basis. So everything will be tried. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, they will have to learn and understand anything else or any other aspect that works. So now is the best time to show your creativity and show them what you can do. And maybe, it might just work. If it doesn't, it's okay. You still have something nice and, new to offer. Okay. The next thing or the next one is focus mastery. This is my favorite. You need to harness your concentration. When I say harness is you need to bring back all of your concentration on the work that you do. Now, people are always looking at long-term goals. And I know a lot of people who say, what, I've worked in this company for 2 years, 3 years, there is no progress. That, I have this goal that I wanted to reach here. I come with so much education. Hello. To reach a higher goal, you need to start off with mini goals. Learn to understand that when you learn to achieve something and finish an agenda or finish work that you've done on a smaller scale, that's when you build and you learn. You cannot go from 0 to 100% in a day. You cannot go to a company and be like, oh, I want to be like that guy. And in a jiffy, it's not going to happen. No, you have to work your way to it. So understand that, start setting mini goals to yourself. It has got nothing to do with your colleagues or the company. It's got something for your own self-development. So start making mini goals. So suppose it's something that you want to get into profession like teaching. Start small. Start with online tutoring, or start with being a part of an association that has people taking 2 or 3 groups. Start practicing what you want to be. Start achieving mini goals. Start putting out your ability and talent out there for people to see that this is what you're capable of. Once you have your mini goals set, and once you realize that you have the ability to understand how you work in an environment with team and collaborate with people, it is easier to understand that okay, there are certain things that need an individual to work by themselves, but certain goals can be reached even with a team. So start off small, and I'm sure someday you will reach your long-term goals. And always remember, I keep telling people this, when you're working for a company, don't just have that vision that you're working for somebody and that is what is all you're supposed to do. Then no. If you believe what the vision of the company is, you will give your 100% anyways. And you always go back to work with that kind of ability. Always have that in mind, that you're not working for your boss, you're working for the vision of the company. And only way to do it is to have very, very sharp focus. Now, when I'm talking about focus mastery, I'll take a little 2 minutes more, because I do know that we get distracted. And the main problem and how people deviate from focus mastery is basically multitasking. For whoever said multitasking is a very good ability, I know it was in one of the most required skills few years back. When you wanted to join a company, they would always want people with organizational skills and multitasking. They would want multitasking to be as part of one of the job descriptions. It's not anymore. Multitasking does nothing but wastes your time. Always start off with an agenda. Have a scheduling list. Have an agenda, a timetable, a to-do list. If you're trying to task and multitask or club things that are in and around the same subject, that's fine, because you're working towards one goal. But if you're doing one thing from another subject, trying to work on another PPT, it's not going to work. You're just going to not end up doing anything. So focus mastery, that's how you do it. You make agendas, you make a to-do list, have your notice board or your cubicle wherever you work with an agenda that, okay, this is what I need to complete by the day. And you will land up getting a lot of results. The next one is innovation. Like I said before, when it comes to innovation, people just be like, I'm not an innovator. I cannot do this. You don't have to do anything. Everything is actually already out there. You just need to find your niche and how you can add your personal touch to whatever is out there, to the concept, to the process, to the method. All of us know when we join a company, most companies, not all the companies, but most companies will give you an orientation, will give you a training. So it has come from somewhere. Somebody made that training material. We keep following back and forth, but we know that every year that same training manual or orientation book is upgraded. It's upgraded. It's the same thing. It's just somebody else coming in, giving their personal touch, adding the new trends to it. So it's the same thing that applies to everything else as well. If there's a certain way of doing a work, but you think that you can give your input that will actually be more productive and can give you 100% results better and faster, you always go ahead and tell your teammates, your supervisors, and innovate. That's it. Everything is out there. You don't have to start from scratch. And believe me, we're living in a world, like I keep saying this again and again, let's just take advantage of all the technology available. There are apps to do everything. I am like a pro app person. I have an app on my phone for every aspect. Even if I'm not feeling sleepy, I have an app. Okay, there's an app that gives the these calming, soothing music. You won't believe it. There are some people. I'm not trying to deviate from the topic, but I'm telling you, there are some people who cannot sleep without the noise of the fan. I'm not really sure if there, but then I know in India there are a lot of people. There is an app called an oscillator. So the app basically only has the noise of the fan. It's amazing. So imagine creativity to what level it has gone, and these are all innovative things. Even if you go to a market, if you've seen this website called Wish.com, look at the innovative things people come up with. It's insane. So we all have this ability to come up with new ideas. I think we should all just take it down. You never know how you can use it. So please be innovative. It's very important. This is what they're going to look for in the next 2020 or post-pandemic. Communication. This is never going off any list. Let pandemic come, like let anything come, communication is always going to be the most important aspect. If you do not communicate, there's no way people are going to understand what can you offer to the company as a person, as an individual, or the job title that you have offered or you're working for. Communication, like I said, is a very vast subject, so I won't get into too much depth. All I will say is English is a business language. You have to know it. You have to know that that is the language people use globally. It keeps evolving. I know people know and say that English is a funny language. Haha, yes it is, but believe me, that's the language you need to know in the business world. That's the language that is common and known in every aspect. You could come from any kind of a background. You could have any language as your mother tongue, but when it comes to business, English has been marked as one of the most important aspects to know. Now, communication is not only based via, English language. It can be obviously from all different languages as well. But yes, the priority is given to this language. Communication divided into two aspects: verbal communication, non-verbal communication. Now, verbal communication is something that we all know. It's written, oral, of any form. But when you talk about non-verbal communication, it talks about your body language. Now, non-verbal communication is also going to play a very important role, because we are right now in a situation where video interviews, video resumes are all a new trend. I know people are giving interviews via videos. When you're giving interviews via videos, all they can see is this much of you. But that is also part of your body, your expressions, the way you talk, the way you sit, the way you answer. How are you looking? Are you looking pleasant? Your hand gestures, these are all part of non-verbal communication and are as important. In fact, body language is one of the most important part of communication. Actually takes about 70% of the communication and is more effective. In fact, they say actions speak louder than words. This is an exact example of what I'm saying. Non-verbal always takes over verbal. So, work on your communication, work with applications that can help you communicate, work on your listening skills. It is very important. Speaking, listening. When I say listening, you need to know. Don't just listen to people because they're talking and, just, okay, yeah, you're paying attention to them, but they're not paying attention. There's no sync. You need to listen. When your boss gives you certain kind of instructions, when your supervisor gives you certain kind of instructions, when you're getting feedback, it's very important that you listen and implement. There's no point if you have the ability to communicate but don't open your mouth. Or there's no point when you have the talent to speak, to write, to, all these things that you have to go ahead and voice that opinion out and tell people that this is what I do. This is what I can do. In fact, now when you're getting back to work, is the best opportunity for you to tell them that, listen, I know I have been hired as this particular, on this particular role. How can I help? Because I do have the ability to do marketing. I do have the ability to be in sales. I do have digital certification. I can help with this. This is how you are going to ask and, tell your company people that, listen, I am not a one role person. I can do different things if you just give me an opportunity. And that will only happen when you communicate about it. Okay. So that's why communication is very important. The next one is storytelling. This is insane. That's on a list with a soft skill, but they say organizations' thought and process is basically what they want right now, is because this has been like a complete shift. And not many people, realize this is going to be so massive, this pandemic called COVID, and it has hit people so badly. that people don't know what to do. They really do not know how to go about next. You won't believe it. A brand like Gucci. So Gucci never ever spoke about delivery because they are too big a name. They would never get into delivery. I don't think I've ever heard Gucci delivering stuff. All right. And there was another company that started off with WhatsApp delivery during COVID. Gucci did the same thing. So, you have to adapt. You have to learn how to, the reason I'm telling you this is because you have to learn to organize all these things. So now when that one person who had actually given them the idea was not heard, but then when it actually worked, whoever this person was, or the next person who came in and told them and explained to them, the way of talking, the way of conveying the message, your thought process, and the way you put it out is very important. So how you're going to comprehend, how are you going to narrate what is your idea is going to take you a long way right now. So if you do have a new idea, if you do have a new product or something to add to an already existing procedure, rules, regulations of a company that you know for sure needs changing, be so strong and tell it such a beautiful in a such a beautiful way that actually there is an effect, that they actually listen to you. Now the second other thing what you can do is, when you're trying to, this actually works when you're doing a presentation. And if this presentation is something that is you're looking out for with regards to getting a new project or managing a new project, or being a supervisor, or rather actually moving up as a promotion, if you want people to relate to you, to listen to you, you need to have the ability to narrate your story. If you have examples and experiences of your own, please tell it. When you tell people certain things with your own experience, it becomes like a personal touch. It adds an own brand of your own, because people start relating the story or what you're telling to something that is alive, to something that they see or somebody that they see every day. So it's easier for them to believe it. Don't give them narratives about a movie or this and that. No, we don't need that. We all have access to all of those. So a personal narrative about some experience that you had or a situation that you handled, the way you tell it, the way you go ahead and explain that will definitely work. So every time now that you move forward, if you have a presentation, make sure that you have an ability or at least know how to convey the message. It's very important. The next we have is culture awareness. Now, the reason I have put this in, or maybe the reason it has been on the number 7, I know that we've always been culture aware. We are living, especially the ones who are joining in from UAE. We do live in a place that does accept diverse cultures and are very respected, and it's really nice to see that everybody blends in very well. But when you look at what has happened in the past few months in certain countries and the way people have been treated, is something that as an awareness has been put back as a normal thing, called as an important aspect in new 2020 soft skill. The ability to interact with anybody else from any other job, any other culture, is very important. We all come with our own traditions. We all come with our own beliefs. We all come with our own upbringing. Every culture comes up with something else. But when you come to an office, you leave all of your personal discipline home and you form and understand what the company's uniformity is. You will form, every company there's a reason why there's an HR department in place. There is a reason why there is a training and development department in place. And there's a reason why there is an employee handbook. This is the reason why it is there. It's so that everybody, whichever culture you come in from, you respect the uniformity of the office. The office will have a different way of working. So you keep your personal differences at home. Whatever you do or you've learned, everybody respects that. But when you're coming to work, you don't get that with you. All right? The next is critical thinking. Somebody who has the ability to analyze, to evaluate, to strategize, normal thinking, coming up with ideas. Now, this is very important, and I'll tell you why. For businesses that are not yet started, for businesses that are not yet looking at getting, up in the market till about the next 2 or 3 months, they are going to do critical thinking. All they want is people to strategize, to come up with analytical, information and strategies and planning as to how to cover up for all of the losses that have happened in the last so many months. And you are really going to be given a lot of importance if you are one of those. So if you do have the ability or you were the person who, in future is looking at starting their own business, who comes from an MBA or comes from anything to do with business studies. Now is the time where you go ahead and upskill yourself, learn digital marketing, learn anything to do with strategizing, coming up with company ideas. Because as and when everything starts, they are not going to look at, then hiring people. When they already have people who can give you those ideas, why would they want to hire new people? Because there's going to be a very panic situation when you start, when the companies actually start off full-fledged, everything is going to be like a chaos. And if you already have somebody who is, can add to the thinking, add to the growth of the company, be a part of the strategy team, this is where you can shine. So what I would suggest is, I do not know how you have spent 4 or 5 months in COVID, but I'm hoping and praying that you've spent your time networking, upskilling, studying, learning, all of these things. Because if that is not what you've done, I have a feeling you're going to be a little back compared to the others who've actually utilized this time. Because it's all going forward. There is no guarantee that the kind of role you were doing that time is going to be available next. It might have 2 or 3 additional roles to it. So critical thinking is very important. So have an open mind, learn new things for whatever role you're doing. So for example, the reason I say marketing is because marketing is like a new trend. It's like everywhere. Digital marketing is going to boom for people who are into marketing. If you do not have online presence, if you do not know how to use online technology, believe me, you're going to be waiting a very long time to get hired. I'm sorry to say this, but it's the fact. Get yourselves upskilled. There are so many things that you can do online. Just learn, and be ready. The minute the market picks up, you should be among the top 10. And there should be a reason why. They'll be like, okay, 4 or 5 months. What has this person done? Oh, this person has upgraded themselves. What a good thing to do. Let's call them in for an interview. So, just these are all things that are going to help you. Everything is interconnected. All of these points are interconnected. The next one is leadership. Now, leadership quality is something that you need to have, because I do know a lot of people have been made redundant. Okay, so there is a possibility of you getting a position if you are on a lower pay scale. Obviously, you won't be hired. Let's be honest. You might not get the pay that the other person was getting. However, there is a possibility of you getting a promotion and doing 2 roles. So you need to be sure that you have leadership qualities. Now, according to me, what I feel, or who is a person who is a good leader, normally the basic example of leadership is somebody who leads a team of 10 people. He's given them instruction. He or she has given them instructions and they follow it. No. A leader is somebody who grows, who understands what the vision and the goal of the company is, inspires the others to work with him, not work under him or under her. That is the kind of leader you want to work for. When you have a mindset like this, wherein you're okay with growing and you're okay with growing with the team and move along with them, that is when there is a success rate of 100%. So you be a leader that inspires. Don't be a leader they are afraid of. Don't be a leader that will, suppress the ability and the talent that you have as a team working for you. So have leadership qualities. Be a guide. Be a person giving constructive feedback. In fact, sit with them and work with them as well. So for the ones who are at the supervisory level, be kind. It's very important to be kind. It's very important to be humble. It'll take you a very long way. Leadership quality is also somebody, when you're a leader, don't get nasty and don't be upset if one of your peers or somebody else comes to you with a better job opportunity and wants to move on. That's not what a leader does. You do not hold on to employees just because they are very good at their work. You need to go ahead and let them be, and let them enjoy what they're good at. If they're getting a better opportunity, you go ahead and help them and let them grow. That is what makes you a good leader. So have all these qualities. It's very important that you have a good leadership qualities. And the last one is emotional intelligence. Also comes with emotional quotient, but yes, practicing control, expression, observations of interpersonal relationships among people in workplace. The reason I say this is you need to understand that a lot of people don't realize that empathizing or empathy is very important. When you are good at something, but there's somebody else who's not good at, don't look down at that person. Try and help that person. It's very important to be emotionally connected to everyone. You do not want to be the person, like every time you walk into a room or come to work, they're like, oh my God, this person is here. You do not want to be that person. You want to be a joyful person. You want to be somebody who spreads smile. You want to be somebody people wait for when you come to work. Your emotional intelligence is where this all will come in practice. Be kind to one another, learn to collaborate with one another, work in a team. You always will work better in a team, shine in a team. Now, when you say have emotional intelligence, is also when it comes to, this is the positive thing about it. The negative aspect is when you are part of a team, there is a possibility, okay, that you do not really get a good boss every time. You do not really get a good colleague every time. You will have somebody who's nasty. You will have somebody who is a troublemaker. Don't take it personally. When you're at work, remember, if it's a 9 to 6 job, you're there because you're getting paid to do that work. You're not getting paid to listen to anybody else. However, do not react in a way that will also, not look good on you. If you do have somebody like this, if they're giving you criticism, if it's constructive, don't take it personally. In fact, take down whatever that person is telling you. Be smart, be emotional, keep your emotions in control. Don't take it personally. Anything at work, any kind of feedback at work, if it's given to you, listen to what that person has to say. Understand, okay, does this feedback apply to me? What is he referring to? If you listen, you never know if that person really has good intent. Will make sure that they guide you with the kind of advice they're giving you and not just instruct you. So it is going to help you a long way beyond that. If it's somebody who's just being nasty, if it's somebody who's just plain rude, that's not your problem, that's their problem. Why react? Don't react. You don't need to react. When you react is when you give that person control. So you don't need to do it. You don't need to give that person that importance unless he's your boss. He or she is your boss. Then you'll have to find different ways of dealing with it. But I'm sure there are different ways. You just need to understand when and where to not step on people's shoes. One more example for emotional intelligence is don't become part of the gossip group that is there at work. Don't waste your time at work. You don't want to be involved in that. A healthy gossip is fine. Basic gossip is fine. It is required. It's funny, it's fun, it's entertaining for a bit. You take your breaks, and that's when you want to talk about certain things, fine. But don't get toxic. Respect people, respect their culture, respect their religion, respect where they come from. If somebody is having a bad day, if you can add a smile to that person's face, please go ahead and do that. All right. So these are the top 10 trending skills, and this is according to the CNBC network, and that's when I got my research from. And also the greatcourses.com is the picture. We've taken pictures from here and there, so we have this picture, which is a beautifully emoted picture about emotional intelligence. Is basically having your mind and everything in a calm and composed manner. Now, what I have next is these are. There was a YouTube video, and this is insane. And you're going to be blown because I was when I was doing this research, and I was like, oh my God, are you serious? There are 11 new job opportunities in 2020. Now, when I say this, please keep an open mind because I'm not just referring to UAE or India. I'm talking globally. Okay, so this research is done globally. The first one, home office setup experts. Jason is smiling. So there are a lot of people who are entrepreneurs, who are businessmen, who cannot go to work because there are not many people coming and sitting at office, right? But they want to start up their own office, but they cannot sit in their home place because they do not know how to set it up. If you are if you have the ability, make a profile of you can help people pick up furniture and tables, chairs, how to place the desk or how to put what kind of a wallpaper in one particular area of your home and make that. You will get paid. It is a job. It is a mind blowing. When I was reading it, I'm like, oh my God, this has not even come. And the minute I started watching the video and I saw the first one, and I was like, I just didn't know what was coming next because this was insane. So if you have the ability to helping people not reconstruct rather, but set up their homes into offices, please go ahead and find out more information. Now, I'm somebody who does not give you too much information. I will just give you crisp information because I would like you to go and do research for yourselves. So I'm just going to give you basic ideas. Go back to Google. Google is always there and it's always friendly. Online promoters. Now, this is very, very good. This is the new normal, actually. If you're a musician or a magician or a dancer or an artist, you need people to promote that for you. If you're somebody who's into sales and marketing on a general, when physically you're into sales and marketing, but you have online expertise, help these dancers, these artists, these magicians, these musicians, or whoever is into these kind of arts who are giving talks, work for them. Tell them like, hey, I do know that you are so good at this thing, and if you want, I can be your promoter. This is what I offer. Make a package, make a module, work with it, and offer your services. I'm not saying you're going to be earning like too much, but there is a start. You start up with one person, you get recognition, you start networking, then you move on to two, three, and you never know where it's going to build. So this is the second one. Gym equipment rental. This is insane. So for all the people who are missing the gym, okay, what the guy who was doing this research said, he said if you're somebody who has enough money to invest, get gym equipments and rent them out. So this guy who's done the research as a US guy, and he's like, rent it out for $5, but then when you calculate, imagine how much you make in the year. So if you have equipments that you have in your, if you already have them, even better, you can rent them out, rent it out to people on, I don't know, I wouldn't say daily basis, probably monthly basis, depending. Now it's COVID, it's a little scary, but then I think if you could sanitize the thing and wrap it up well and actually rent it out, it's better than going to a crowded gym than rather getting the equipments home. So I don't know how it works and who it works for, but I'm sure there's somebody who it works for. And the next one is virtual graduation coordinator. This is insane. So a lot of schools have their students and alumni, graduating. And come on, who does not wait for a party at the end of their education? So if you're somebody who's into coordinating in general, what you can do is offer your services virtually. Get in touch with the people or principals or whoever is the main person, of a school, and ask them that, do you have a day or a kind of party organized for these people? If not, I offer services. I can arrange for a virtual party. It's insane, but it's so cool. Imagine having a virtual party, nothing you have to do. What all you have to do is dress up only halfway through. Nothing matters what you're wearing below. And wear all your thing. You have your certification. You have all of your friends celebrating with you, or all of your colleagues and students with you. So virtual graduation coordinator is something that people are looking into. Now this sector works really well into educations, into institutes, training institutes, anything, anybody with courses with 200 and plus people who normally have a graduation party. These are the people you can approach for something called as a virtual graduation coordinator. Next, content creator. I'm sure in the audience, if Anita is there, she's smiling broad smile. Content creator, also known as a e-commerce person. Now, I've given an example of a Zoom background because that is what is the most friendliest and most frequently used thing. But we do have WebEx, and we have so many other platforms that you can use. Now, there are people who want to use it but do not know how to do it, and there are some people who are very lazy. They just don't want to learn. So what happens is you can actually hire people to do the content for you. If you're somebody who wants to put up a web page, hire a content creator. Tell them exactly what do you want, and they will be able to help you out with it. So that's how this helps. You become a digital e-commerce person. You help them. You do not need to teach them anything. You actually do it for them like an assistant, but it still works. It is adding to your profile as a content creator. It's adding to your profile as a digital e-commerce person. So all of these jobs that I see here is something that you might have as an innate talent, or something that you would have not given a thought to, and it doesn't need much. You don't need like a certification or an educative qualification and something like this. Simple things. If you already have it, add it to your list. Just enhance it. This is how innovation is going to be. This is how the new trend is. Delivery jobs. Now, I'm not talking about all of you guys joining Amazon and becoming delivery people. No, but I'm sure you know of somebody who's lost their job as delivery boys. They can literally do this right now because everything, online groceries are looking out for delivery boys. There are Zomato that is still hiring. Amazon is hiring. A lot of other portals that are hiring. So if you can become a delivery person or a delivery job, or if it could be anything into courier as well, why not? So delivery jobs are available. They're doing well. They're picking up. So that's the sixth one. Tech guru. Now you have people who are not very well equipped with technology. So what you do is, there's 7 numbers come twice. Okay. what you do is you offer your services to them. You tell them that, listen, I do understand these are for companies who want, to utilize their aspects and utilize their services online, but do not know how to go about it. If you are a tech person, you tell them, you know what, tell me what you want to do, and we can put it out there for you. This is the technology that you can use. If you're a speaker, this you can use Zoom. If you want it for some kind of another platform, this is how you use it. You can promote it on YouTube, you can do it on Facebook, like what we're doing now. It's the Zoom session. I'm sure we have it live on FB. Jason is going to upload it on YouTube. He's actually doing 3 different platforms, so he's using the technology well. That's what you do. So you help people promote, you help people. So if you're already somebody who's a techie person, and you have the ability to help somebody else pick up their business and work, I think there's nothing like it. So a tech guru is something, yeah. And there's something called as an apps emo. I do not know if you heard about this. It's go to this thing called, it's APPSIMO. Okay, it's apps emo. It's basically all the applications that are available over there that can help you with different aspects and different categories, to learn and see what all different applications are out there. And maybe there are some applications, if you're a techie person, that you've not heard about. Learn it and probably offer your services. You never know how you can help. The next one is online event architect. Now, when I say online event architect, there are so many people who want to offer service. So there are so many speakers, but they do not know which platform to be on. The best example is Zoom. Zoom is one of the platforms that is, available for speakers or for people to do their programs. There's Eventbrite, that also is like an online event architect or an online event coordinator. So these are basically online. Now, we always had event coordinators. Now these are online. It's just an added word. It's the same thing, what you would do publicly when you would organize events outside. Now you're going to learn to do it on technology. You're going to learn to do it digitally. So this is the service that you will offer. So I know Eventbrite is one of the very common ones and has a lot of events happening. There are meetups also that, obviously they can't do it physically, but they do. There's women at work that have a lot of meetups that happen. So there are a lot of these online event people that do these services. So there are more. If you want to go ahead and if you're into events, do Google it and understand how it works. The next is webinar engineer. Webinar engineer is basically people who are starting off with a new a new portal or a new website, but do not know how to do video editing, do not know how to do content editing, do not know how to do twitching, graphics, flyers, advertisements, snippets. For all of them who are into video editing, who are into graphic designing, who are into photography, webinar engineer is the role that you can apply for. Also, people who are into web development can apply for this role because it is a hand-in-hand role that you can work with. And we have a day optimizer. There are people who do not know how to structure their day, or I would rather just call them lazy people. But there are a lot of CEOs and other people who do not have their PAs or anybody working for them, or who do not really know this new norm of working digitally, or are just not digitally equipped or educated. Most of the CEOs were like 30, 40 plus. 30 is still okay, but 40, 50 plus are not very tech savvy because they always have an EA or a PA doing their work. So what happens is you can offer your services and be that day optimizer. Say, listen, you tell me your agenda. I will make a schedule for you. I can be a scheduling person for you. I don't need to be working with you physically, but I can do it for you sitting from my home. So it's like, doing their whole day schedule and working for them and working with them. And last but not least, short-term rental office space. Now, it's space actually. All right. So what happens is a lot of people don't want to work, okay, but they do not want to work from their homes. If you have a home or have an office space that you can rent out to people and set it up like an office and, probably charge them per hour, per day, per week, then you can definitely use that. So if you do have space or you can spare a room that you wouldn't mind making little extra bucks from, please go ahead and put out your services. It will really, really help, or help people with, setting up their office, or at least their temporary office till things start getting normal. And these are the 11 things that, 11 new trends that would help. How do you prepare for the future? You learn, stay up to date with emerging technologies, Identify the missing skills that you have and add them to your list. It is very important. Experiment, keep trying existing solutions. I'm sure one out of 10 will always work. I feel sad when people just give up after applying for 10 or 15 jobs and they're like, you know what, I've been applying and applying and applying, but nothing really happens. You're not really applying 100% because you're just trying one way. All you're doing is clicking apply. All you're doing is just taking an email address and sending them emails. What are you doing about your LinkedIn profile? What are you doing about your networking? Which events are you attending? So, there are a lot of things that come hand in hand. It's not going to come to you. It's not just going to come to you by you sitting and like, oh, I've done this. And I remember Sushma doing a session on LinkedIn and about how, how a basic job search or a candidate is selected. Your job description has to match the profile. If it's not going to match the profile, there's no way you're getting the job. And that can only happen when you actually do a little bit of study for this kind of work or the place you're applying for. Just don't go to a website and apply and be like, oh, I've applied. No, go to the website, check their about us, check the information about the website. How long have they been there? What have they done? What are the new awards they've received? What are the new products they've launched? What kind of new trends they are into? You have things. Apply and understand if you can add those aspects even in your your resume. When you're writing your cover letter, how effective is your cover letter? I'm not saying everybody reads a cover letter, but if it's an effective one, you never know, there might be one person. How strong is your subject line? How many emails do we get daily? Isn't the subject line that's what the subject line itself lets us decide whether you want to swipe it to the dustbin, to the empty bin, or you want to actually open that, right? Or you want to mark all of those that come from there and put it to spam. So be very careful in how you're utilizing your skills to apply for a new job. So keep trying existing solutions. If they're not working, try more. And last but not the least, yes, please bring AI. AI is a new technology. So start getting yourself acquainted to okay, what happened? Okay, to new things. Understand. Now, this is something that I've come up with. I want everybody to upskill yourselves, upgrade yourselves, and uplift yourselves. It's as simple as that. Upskill, because add to the hard skills that you already have. There are so many certifications, there are so many courses that you can do. There are so many things, so many online courses and platforms. There's Udemy. I'm not saying spend money. Most of these platforms do give you free education as well. Free courses are available. The only drawback would be is probably you would not get a certification in your name, but you're still learning any form of learning. If you want to pay and you have the ability to pay, please go ahead and do, because they're not very expensive. And there are a lot of courses in each category. The reason I have put podcast here, this is actually for Anchor. This actually the application is for Audible. Audible are audiobooks. If you're not somebody who likes reading, you can listen to audiobooks, you listen to podcasts. They are also hiring, by the way, if you're somebody who's looking into voiceover artistry, if you're somebody who's looking into, contributing your voice to something. It could also be podcasting or RJing. This is your application to go to. There's Anchor you can go to. YouTube is always available, always has so much information and so many 10 to 15-minute videos that can help you learn so many things. There's Coursera that also has courses, free courses. edX is also there, where it's called education. And LinkedIn Learning. Now, LinkedIn Learning sometimes is very kind to us and has these free seminars and sessions that you can attend. Please do attend. I know LinkedIn Learning is a little expensive, but when it is out there and when you have the opportunity to use it, please go ahead and use it. There's an article on Forbes.com. Certain things and questions you need to ask yourself. Who are my people? When I say who are my people, who are the people who are going to work with you or you are going to work with? What is your contribution to the company that you're going to work with or you're working for? What is your place in the world? How are you valuable to the company currently or the next company that you're going to join? And how do I adapt to constant change? How are you going to adapt and exist? Learn to coexist. You do not want to be in the list of people who want to be redundant. So learn to upgrade yourself, learn to upskill yourselves. And how do I find meaningful work? If your position has been made redundant, don't feel low or get into that position like, oh my God, now what do I do next? No. See how you're going to use your skills. See how can you upgrade yourself. See how can you use the already qualification and education and expertise that you have. How can you upgrade it and come back and get back on your feet and be back in the game? That is what is important. you can connect. I'm nearly done. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. That is where I'm most approachable and I'm most available. Okay. If you have any questions relating to soft skills, you can definitely ask me now. However, if there's anything even after the session, if you want to go ahead and ask me, you definitely can. So that is what I had to offer all of you guys. I hope it was helpful. And if you do have any questions, I can take it now.